The Russel bloodline. The Russel family came from German Jews who went by the surname Russel. When they relocated in Scotland, they changed the spelling of it to better fit with Scottish sensibilities. When the British Crown wanted to take over control of Ireland, they pushed the Protestant Scots to become illegal immigrants into Ireland to take the country over so as to control the Irish in time. Does that sound familiar, anyone? The satanic side of the Russel family moved to Ireland, bringing the Scottish Mason rite with them as cover. The Illuminati realized that if they could infiltrate Masonry, which was already an organized semi-secret society, they could infiltrate everywhere. The plan was rather ingenious. Since Masonic levels only functioned on a need-to-know basis, with lower tiers having to put blind trust in the tiers above them, junior members knew little to nothing about what was going on above them. Masonry functioned on the belief that they had inherited what was left of the sacred rites of Solomon's temple. While modern Masons claim today that they don't believe that, it is important to understand that all Masons before 1930 did believe it, and emphatically. In fact, they claimed that they were all that was left of the ancient rites of Solomon. They lamented, in point of fact, that over the centuries they had lost the last great secret of those that had been passed down. And so they simply chose to call this missing information the Mahabone. Pull out the sacred bet, and you have Mahan, Mahan, the forbidden secret. To make all this history simpler, and it's not simple, what basically happened is that the Russel bloodline, with others, founded a super special Masonic lodge blessed by the Rothschild Bank of England. Due to their great wealth and ability to make any obedient in the lodge rich, they started the rumor that they held the upper secrets. Curiosity soon killed the cat, as Masons fell for the ruse, and or wanted to believe that lodges such as these were the 4th, 5th, 9th, 13th, 33rd, 666th level of pure Masonic secrets. It works just like the mafia. Soldiers at the bottom level move up their ranks if they please their upper-ups. If they don't, they never learn the deep and important secrets of the levels above them. Needless to say, it was not long before these illuminated Masonic lodges were in control of all the other lodges. It is said that the 33rd level of Masonic rites is today level 1 of the Illuminati. Here is the text of the last instruction given to 32nd degree Masons before some were offered the chance, for a large fee, to enter the secret 33rd level, with some occasional obnoxious, enlightened commentary to help open your eyes.
You are here to learn, if you can learn, and to remember what you have been taught. In the Scottish Rite, you will be taught that our ancient ancestors, who knew all the mysteries, left enough traces so that we today, with diligent labor and teaching, may renew them and bring them to light for your enlightenment. We now come to the great symbol of Pythagoras. Our symbols have descended to us from the Aryans, and many were invented by Pythagoras, who studied in Egypt and Babylon. In order to preserve the great truths learned from the profane, there were invented some of our symbols that represent the profoundest of truths descended to us from our white ancestors. Many have been lost as was the true word at the death of our Grand Master, Hiram Abiff. The ancient masters invented some of these symbols to express the result of deity. They did not attempt to name him, but rather tried to express their reverence by describing him as Ahura Mazda. Spirit of light.
They mean the light bringer, the bringer of light. Lucifer, Satan, is the light bringer.
They conceived the idea that Ahura had 7 potencies, or emanations. 4 of these they thought of as male, and 3 female.
LGBTQL plus, excuse me.
I don't like you either.
The 4 male potencies of Ahura, by which he governed the universe, were the divine might, the divine wisdom, the divine word, and the divine sovereignty. The 3 female potencies were productiveness, health, and vitality. Look to the east, my brothers, and behold the 7-pointed star, the great symbol of this degree.
Game of Thrones fans might remember the religion called the Seven. Here's the High Sparrow from the show explaining it.
The gods didn't abandon us in silence, but gave us their holy words to guide us, collected in the oldest and holiest text of the faith of the 7, the 7-pointed star. Divided into 7 books for the 7 aspects of God, in it we learn of the Father's justice, the Mother's mercy, the Maiden's innocence, the Crone's wisdom, the Warrior's strength, the Smith's labor, and the Stranger's peace. It is a long book.
So is George's.
Every warrior carved a 7-pointed star into his body, for even that was easier than carving its namesake into his mind. Though one could perhaps argue that it wasn't the warriors, but the septons and scepters, armed with the holy text of the 7-pointed star, who truly conquered Westeros. The first men had no letters, but the runes they would scratch onto rocks. No gods, but the faces they would carve into trees. But then came our holy men and women among them, bearing the very words of the gods under their arms. Trees and rocks were no match for the 7-pointed star, and most of Westeros soon turned to the faith and to its guardians, their new Andal overlords, bound together by the 7-pointed star. When those kingdoms fell to Aegon and his dragons thousands of years later, the faith remained subject only to the 7 above and the 7-pointed star below. Or so it was supposed to be. No matter. We still have the 7-pointed star. Men's will and virtue may fail, but the words never do. As men bow to their lords and lords to their kings, so kings and queens must bow before the 7 who are one. The knees of the powerful work the same as the knees of the weak, and were given to all for the same purpose, to bend before the gods, or break in the bending.
4 males, 3 females in 1. Did you hear all the Illuminati buzzwords in this mythos? Let's continue.
With the 7 colors of the rainbow, the 7 colors and 7 points represent the 7 potencies of Ahura.
You mean the 4 males, Father, Warrior Smith, and the Stranger? And the 3 females, the Mother, the Maiden, and the Crone? See how they pre-program us?
Observe now the great delta of Pythagoras, consisting of 36 lights arranged in 8 rows to form an equilateral triangle. The light at the apex of the delta represent Ahura Mazda, source of all light. This represents the 7 remaining potencies of Ahura. The right angle triangle of 3 lights around the altar represents the famous 47th proposition of Euclid, or the Pythagorean theorem, which is used to conceal and reveal philosophical truths. The real significance of the cross is that of Ahura and his 4 male emanations emanating from him.
Warning, warning, bullshit alert!
The 4 animals of the prophet Ezekiel represent these same 4 male emanations.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
Man, the divine word, the eagle, divine wisdom, the bull, divine might, and the lion, divine sovereignty. Every equilateral triangle is a symbol of Trinity, as are all groups of 3 in the lodge, as the sun, the moon, and their worshipful master, and the sacred and mystic symbol AUM of the Hindus, whose origin and meaning no one here knows.
Now note, they say that no one knows the meaning, and now they will proceed to tell us the meaning that nobody, including them, knows.
The great trinity of the Aryans was symbolized by the adepts. Among the Hindus, it is symbolized the supreme god of gods, the Brahmins, because of its awful and sacred meaning, hesitated to pronounce it aloud, and when doing so, placed a hand in front of the mouth to deaden the sound. The trilateral name for God is composed of 3 Sanskrit letters. The first letter A stands for the Creator, Brahma. The second letter U for Vishnu, the Preserver. The third letter M for Siva, the Destroyer. AUM it is, ineffable, not because it cannot be pronounced, but because it is pronounced All these things, which you can learn by study, concentration, and contemplation, have come down to us from our ancient ancestors through Zarathustra or Zoroaster and Pythagoras. You have reached the mountain peak of Masonic instruction, a peak covered by a mist, which you, in search for further light, can penetrate only by your own efforts. Now we hope you will study diligently the lessons of all our degrees, so that there will be nurtured within you a consuming desire to pierce the pure white light of Masonic wisdom.
In other words,
And before we let you go, let me give you a hint. And that is all that the greatest mystics ever give. The hint is in the royal secret.
Oh boy!
It is there that you may learn to find that light. Yes, brothers, the hint is in the royal secret.
Pay very close attention to this secret.
The true word, man, born of a double nature, of what we call good and what we call evil, spiritual and earthly, mortal and immortal, finds the purpose of his being only when these 2 natures are in perfect harmony.
This is the Luciferian law of karma. Lucifer believes that his greatest contribution to humanity was the knowledge of good and evil that he gave to our mother Eve first, and then to our father Adam. He makes it very clear that one cannot be whole unless one learns to sin, and that sinner embraces the sin with one eye shut. He calls this harmony. It's the same that the Lord calls being neither hot nor cold. Lucifer's obvious goal is to get God to spit you out of his mouth, yuck, and into hell.
One time, we successfully mated a bulldog with a Shih Tzu. Yeah, we called it a bullshit.
Harmony, my brethren, harmony is the true word and the royal secret which makes possible the empire of true Masonic brotherhood.
These set up many recruitment clubs for kids, teens, and young adults that were established to help groom youngins for the natural progression into the satanic branches of Masonry, one step at a time. The Russel bloodline helped organize all of these in some manner. The De Molay Society,
Oh boy!
the Job's Daughters, the Owl and Key Club, the Skull and Bones Society, among others. The Russel bloodline has been prominent in leadership and or founding roles with the York Rite of the Masonic Knights Templar, the Pony Express, the Irish Theosophist Lodge, the Lodge of the Golden Dawn, the Lodge of Isis, the Royal Society of Edinburgh, the India Matras Masonic Club, the Fabian Society, and the Jehovah's Witnesses.